Hey, welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast. Glad you could make it out. It's a wonderful Friday morning, and I don't know what time it is because I didn't bring my wristwatch, but it doesn't matter because when we have this guest on, it's laughing time. This is how good it's going to be today. We have a special guest. We're not going to make an announcement. I'm just going to do a quick introduction and we're going to get into it because he's backstage waiting for us to get involved with this conversation. We have none other than the one, the only, the world famous, world renowned Mr. Michael Derry. And we're going to talk about the Fleet Safety Council. Michael, how are you doing?
How am I supposed to live up to that?
First of all, Michael, let me, I just did the applause for you and, there we go. A little confetti.
Yay!
No pressure, right? No pressure.
No, none whatsoever.
Good.
There you go.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I've been looking forward to this ever since I was invited on. So
Awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, good. Well, give us a little background of yourself there, and then Chris is going to get in and ask you a bunch of questions because he's really curious as to what you know or don't know.
Well, how much time do you have on the don't know?
Mr. Derry, introduce yourself.
Sure, I can do that. Well, obviously, my name is Michael Derry, and I currently work with Intact Insurance. I am a senior loss prevention consultant. I've been with Intact now for a couple of years. Prior to that, Intact purchased guarantee insurance, and that's where I was for the few years prior to that. I came out of the industry from the over-dimensional business. I worked for a company called Equipment Express in Ayr, Ontario. Those are the guys that used to annoy you when you were late for a meeting, running down the highway with everything blocked with the police escorts, front and rear, over-dimensional loads. We did a lot of the wind tower stuff and a lot of power generation equipment, transformers and the like. So we had, there was equipment there from, standard flatbeds all the way through to, equipment that we called the Super 19, as you would figure, 19 axles, and some pretty big stuff. Prior to that, I was with Equipment Express for 15 years. So that's a significant portion of time. Prior to that, I was with a little company in Etobicoke called XTL Transport, a little 500 truck, 1,200 trailer operation. And I was with them, I was a safety supervisor position. Prior to that, a couple of different positions, bounced around until I found out what I wanted to do. But I've been involved in safety training, like driver training and compliance for, I don't know, I guess we're pushing 35, almost 40 years now.
Wow.
There you go.
God, you're old. Now, just to remind you, whose opinions are you speaking about?
Oh, okay. Well, I talked to the bosses at Intact, and they said, "Oh God, you have to talk." So, although I work for Intact, I do want you to thank you very much, Chris. I want the listeners to know that sometimes I get completely off the rails, and so I want people to know that what I say, the opinions that I have, are strictly my own. So, if I say anything you don't agree with, don't be calling Intact and saying, "Hey, that goof on that show," that's me.
Yeah. So I got a pop
we did the
quiz
disclaimer. That was the important part.
That's right.
Okay.
So now we got a pop quiz. It's a skill testing question for us to carry on this show, and it is, how many tires on a 19 axle trailer?
Oh God, don't do that to me right now.
76?
Yeah. Close.
Close.
Does that count the tractor as well, or
Somewhere
is that another
there.
3 axles?
Oh, there's 17 axles that have 4 each.
Yep.
And then your steers, 2.
Steers. Perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
Good deal. Okay, you pass. We'll let you in.
Equipment Express?
18 axles that have 4 tires each, and then the 2 steers. Yeah.
So did Equipment Express have trailers that large?
Yeah.
Ugh. Give me the shutters. Okay, we're here to talk about The Fleet Safety Council. Sorry, I had to think there. We're talking about Fleet Safety Council. Just out of curiosity, Michael, how long have you been a member of the Fleet Safety Council?
We were just doing the math on that earlier today, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. 23 years.
Wow.
Congrats.
Jeez.
23 years. Yeah, it's my anniversary coming up in a couple. I wonder if they're going to do anything special for me. You know, one year,
Let you continue to be a member.
They got at the conference, they got me my own laptop.
Yeah. I thought it was an ELD for you.
Yeah. Everybody at the council makes fun because I'm kind of old school, like you guys, but like really old school. They always made fun of me at my chapter because I was electronically or technologically stunted. I always tell people that if a light switch had 3 positions, I'd be screwed.
John, you got to have a comment about Derry being stunted.
I spent a fair bit of time. Michael and I have known each other for several years, and he does have some dysfunctional qualities. He's a snowmobiler like I am. Unfortunately, he rides a Bombardier. I ride something better, but nonetheless, he does at least know how to get on the snowmobile. He just doesn't quite understand how it steers yet. So we pull him, and it's okay. We pull the sled a lot out of the snow, onto the trail, out of the bush, out of the trees, things like that. But, nonetheless, he has a really nice cottage, and we get to go drink some of his whiskey.
Oh, there.
That pulling snowmobiles thing, I remember that so different.
Hamilton
I actually have
Safety
evidence
Council.
that if needed be, I could show it on the screen.
Yeah, you're prepared.
Exactly. Yeah. It was what was the corner? Flip a sled of slores?
No, flip a Quadosaurus corner. That was yours.
Flip a Quadacornis. Yes. That was my. That was my redemption day.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's a good thing those local farm boys came and helped us get that out of there, right?
We would have been working at that a lot harder than we did.
Yeah.
So, and these are fleet safety people talking about situations that they get themselves into.
Well, we record it, Chris. We record it so that we can demonstrate to those what not to do. It's a learning opportunity that we share with people to say, look, if you don't do this, you won't get into this mess.
Well, there you go.
We worked really hard, and none of the stunt people were injured or any of the animals or vehicles that we operated.
And no.
Can't say so much for the trees, but
No, yeah.
Okay, and this ties into the Hamilton Fleet Safety Council, right? You were taking us somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
Make a tie-in, Michael.
Okay. I've always, you got to enjoy what it is that you do. And from the time that I first started with driver training, I've always liked throwing a little bit of, levity into the situations. I was an in-class and an in-car teacher for cars, actual automobiles, when I was a much younger man. And I just found out that it was easier to keep your students' attention and to get them to relax more if you could add a little bit of levity and joke around a little bit. Obviously, you're not going to joke about serious items, but if you can get somebody to laugh, you can get them to drop that tough exterior. You can, they're somewhat afraid. They really don't know how to take you. So if you get them to drop that wall they have in front of them, it's easier to get the information across. And I find that if you can get people to drop that wall, then they'll get the information across a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
So to answer your question directly, Nick Nicholson, God rest his soul, he's no longer with us, from the chapter, one of the guys that really made me feel at home at the Hamilton chapter when I first joined there, 23 years ago. Between he and I, that's how the Hamilton chapter was renamed our nickname is the Laughter chapter. So you even notice if you're a member of the other chapters, if you go take a look at our minutes, it says the Laughter chapter right on there, right underneath Hamilton. So I'll take some of the credit for that, and I'll give the rest to Mr. Nicholson.
Oh, there you go. How many chapters are there? Where are the? I mean, there's Hamilton, Toronto.
Yeah, so there's more than one.
Good. Okay, that covered that one. Even I know there's Hamilton, Toronto, London. No, not one in London. Kitchener.
Yep. London, Kitchener.
Okay, Windsor.
Yep.
Does Windsor have one?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have some fun, Chris. Let's see if we can't name them all, and I'll give you a hint. You can use your digits. You won't have to take off any socks.
Okay. Well, I know there's 9. Or I think there's
Really?
9.
9? No, I think there's 7.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there, I just gave you the answer.
Okay, so there's 7.
Oh, but we got to name them all.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the west I'm okay with. It's when we get past Toronto going east.
Yeah.
It thins out quite a bit.
It does. And then up north as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So John, name one.
So you got Windsor. We'll do the west. We'll cover off the west real quick. So you got Windsor, London, Kitchener, Hamilton, Niagara, and then Toronto. So that's 5. Yep.
Yeah.
And
So
now
we
you've
got
got
one
The other 2.
Yep.
Let's roll it out there. Drum roll. To the north we have. Starts with an S. You were there with your
Sudbury.
son snowmobile. Yes, you were there with your son snowmobiling a couple years ago.
Woohoo!
Okay, so there. And then we got to go east.
Got to go east.
Yes.
It used to be Peterborough, but they've renamed it, as far as I know anyway, Durham.
Durham. So that's all.
Cool.
That's all 9 minus 2.
That's right. That's right.
So for our listeners who are paying close attention to what we're talking about and riveted by what we are presenting here, what the heck is the Fleet Safety Council?
Oh, that's a really good question. The Fleet Safety Council was actually started back in 1964. And there was a group of gentlemen got together and like-minded individuals that realized that, there would be some benefit to gaining not a political voice, but an industry voice. And they actually started, what did the Fleet Safety, here's another quiz for you, and I don't know if you got any prizes to give away to your listeners, but what was the Fleet Safety Council called prior to being called Fleet Safety Council?
Ooh. Council of Driver Trainers?
Yay!
Yes, sir.
That was a question. That was kind of, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Who still calls it the Council of Driver Trainers?
Well, I think it's a lot of people do. And there's still, still have, swag and badges and stuff that still say the, Council of Driver Trainers on it.
Yep.
And I'd have to go into some history here to find out when they actually changed the name, but I think, I don't know, sometime around 10 years ago or something like that. I'd have to.
Yeah. I know when I joined, it was still classified as Council of Driver Trainers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how did you guys get involved, John? How did you get involved?
It was back when I owned my own trucking company.
John's asking the questions.
Oh, right.
Okay, so let me ask the question. So, how did I get involved with the Fleet Safety Council? Oh God! So yeah, I'm kind of like Michael. I'm a long-term guy in this. I've been in it for many years as well. I think it was the late '90s, early 2000s when I got involved under my own company, Transglobal. We had a fleet of trucks and whatnot, and it was happening at the Odd in Kitchener. And there was a room we had rented up there, and we'd meet every second Tuesday morning for 2-3 hours. And it was great because it really helped me to meet people in the industry to talk about safety items and compliance items and what I needed to do to better manage my operations. So it was a great opportunity.
What other questions do you have for John, Mike?
We talked about this a little while ago, John. When did they change the name to the Fleet Safety Council?
I'm not quite sure. It was sometime after 2000, I think. I'm not exactly sure when. It was after that. So yeah.
While you were going on and on there in your long-winded explanation, I had time to actually go look at the website. It was 2008.
2008. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't quiz me on that. I would have failed that miserably.
And why did they change the name? Do you remember?
I think it better reflected what it was that they did. With the Council of Driver Trainers, it seemed like it was just, you would think that it was just driver trainers involved when it wasn't. There was a lot greater spectrum of people from the industry. I mean, we had OPP officers, we had MTO officers, we had MTO inspectors, we had obviously fleet driver trainers, but we also had people from WSIB. There was people from the insurance side. There was all kinds. So
municipalities,
it was a little bit more exactly. So it was a little bit more inclusive to the Fleet Safety Council, because that's what we represented was safety of fleets, be it commercial fleets, private fleets, bus fleets, municipal fleets, that sort of thing.
Well, Michael, let me ask a question. At these, if I was to join, are there meetings?
Well, first of all, Chris, I've known you for I don't know how many years now, but we wouldn't let you join.
Okay, thank you.
No. We're pretty welcoming, but we do have our limits.
And I appreciate. I wouldn't want to join a club that would have me. So
no. Yes, we do have meetings, and depending on which chapter you belong to, is the date that they'll meet. For example, the one that I'm in, the Hamilton Niagara chapter, which I'll explain how I got down there when when I was working in Etobicoke. I can talk about that later. We meet the last Thursday of every month. But there's others that meet the second Tuesday of every month. There's others that meet the last the second Thursday of every month. But so that's set up by your chapter. And the nice thing about that is to get back to the meeting part. Yeah, and we would let you join. To get back to the meeting, I'm not going to say all, but most of the chapters are structured with their meetings. I'm going to say similar, not identical, but similar. Yeah. We have our regular business that we take care of when we first get going in the morning. We usually start our meetings at 9 o'clock. Some guys will show up early. We've had almost a tradition where we get together at a local breakfast place. We'd all meet there, have our breakfast, then we'd head over to the meeting location and start our meeting then. And we do our regular business. There's questions from before. We have regular segments that we talk about. For example, we have Jody Burness, who a lot of people know. Jody's been a member of the council for years, and for our chapter, Jody does this section called Jody on Justice. And we used to have you remember Rick Gladman? Rick Gladman's still hanging around out there. Rick would do regulations. So we had our neat little segments that we would do. And some chapters will have, similar things, but then they'll have a guest speaker. So your guest speaker usually comes on, like 10:30 sort of thing. And there's a different topic, and it's always membership driven every month. And then there's a question and answer period and so on. But there's also open roundtable discussions where anybody at the meeting can bring up anything they want that they're experiencing at their office that they're having difficulty with, or if they need help with it, and just general networking as well. So it's I'm not going to say it's structured identical for each chapter, but each chapter sort of takes on its own personality. And the nice thing about the different dates is if you hear of a meeting going on at another chapter, like over at Central, the Kitchener one, if I know there's a presentation going on over there, I can go sit in on that one. and or I can go out to the London one, or I could head over to Toronto chapter and listen into one of their guest speakers if I wanted to.
So, give me a sample of who the guest speakers might be, because
we've had got a huge range. We've had I can't recall the name, but we've had a presenter in from WSIB, like how to manage your account, your NEAR account, and so on. We've had presenters in from the Ministry of Transport. We've had, like I said, we've had presenters in from the OPP. Jody has done her own presentations. I've done my own. We've had this month at our chapter, Mike Millian from the PMTC is bringing us all up to date on what's going on with the e-logs.
Excellent.
And then I think we've had presentations on CORE, the certificate of recognition. January next year, we're planning way ahead. We've got Kim Richardson talking about driver retention. So it's here's the cool thing. When we do a registration, and I think the other chapters do this as well, when we do our annual registrations, you name and all that stuff, where you're from, and contact information. But there's a section down the bottom where you can add in who'd you like to see as a presenter. So what an easy job for me. I'm the one that arranges the guest speakers for our location with the help of Sue Abernethy. And we right now we're booked right through to like next March. As a matter of fact, we have another guest speaker that you probably know, John. John, I think you've heard of this guy named Chris Harris.
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's from, but I've heard of him.
Yeah. He's coming to speak with us about all things CVOR in November.
Wow.
And I hope you guys don't go for breakfast before that one, because I don't want you falling asleep during it.
You bring up a good point, though, as far as going for breakfast. And I know things are opening up, but we have basically committed for the rest of this year to finish the year out virtually, with the pandemic and all. We've had a lot of help from the IHSA and Charlie Charlambus. There's another Fleet Safety Council little story for fun. And Charlie's helped us, with getting the speaker cameras set up, or the presenters getting their own, network channel so they can come and talk to everybody. And it's been a great.
I know I'm a member of the Central Chapter as well as London. I joined London this year to try and help bolster up some membership, but also where I live now. Being as I moved, a lot of guys know I moved. I'm actually closer to London than I used to be. But nonetheless, a lot of these great speakers actually make the round to the various different chapters. Their information is so valuable and so rich, and it needs to be shared, that a number of chapters will jump on and say, hey, can we get him over here? Can we get that person to come over here? So, and as you'd mentioned, with it being virtually now, it's making it a lot easier to actually do that process.
That's right.
And I know Jody, for instance, is a good example of a great speaker that has made the rounds, because what she's talking about as a paralegal is valuable. So, Mike,
lots of.
I was going to say, lay down how much, lay out the exorbitant costs.
Yeah. What does it cost to join this?
Being a member.
Well, actually, if I can I get you to put that on hold? Because just like those cheesy ads on television, I'd like at the very end of you got some editing to do.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so for the people that missed it.
What other values does the fleet safety bring then?
This is vodka.
Oh, my goodness. There's so much to it. For myself, when I first started, let me say, this is a great way for me to add this in. There was a gentleman from the IHSA. His name is Carmine Benedetti. I call him Eggs Benedict, right? Eggs Benedetti. So that was just my nickname for Carmine. So I don't want anybody thinking, hey, that's not his real name. I know it's not his real name. So when I was at XTL, was relatively new there, still kind of green as far as, safety supervisor, driver training type of thing. I'd put some courses together and whatnot, but I was still not really 100% confident in, delivering courses and so on. And I don't know if it was just luck or, happenstance, whatever you want to call it, but Carmine happened to be dropping in and he had a visit set up for XTL. So he ended up in my office and he told me about this Fleet Safety Council, or the Council of Driver Trainers. I didn't know anything about it. So he told me about all the different locations, and this is where the thing comes in about how I ended up down at the Hamilton Niagara one. Well, there was a chapter close to us, which when I was in Etobicoke at XTL, there was the Toronto chapter. But at the time that I worked at XTL, I lived in Waterdown, and there was a meeting that Thursday or whatever, and it was down in Burlington, and so I went to that chapter meeting, and it turns out that it was just a temporary location because they were having a course or whatnot, and they actually met somewhere else. I think it was the Fifth Wheel at the time in Grimsby, and but that's how I ended up at the Hamilton Niagara chapter. I was just comfortable with the people that I got in with, and like to say, it's you keep on going back into the same location, and through that chapter, I met tons of people through all the other chapters. So. As far as other benefits, number one, the networking. If you just inside your own chapter, you're going to meet so many people that have so much valuable information. Even today, I know I've been a chapter member for a long time, and have been in the industry for a long time. But if a question comes up, either for me or any one of my coworkers, I'm usually not reaching for a business card file or anything. I'm going back into my head, or who do I know from my chapter that if I don't have this information, who do I know from my chapter that knows that information, or who in my chapter would know where to get that information?
Right.
Or what speaker presenter did I hear? Who was it that I met? Or the other advantage of the Fleet Safety Council is the annual conference. Like, what speakers were at the federal or at the annual conference? Who did I meet there? Yeah, there's a conference too. So
Conference? Really? Wow.
Yeah. Now that hasn't been since the beginning of time. I think the first one was I think it was in Peterborough. I'm not 100% sure. I can't recall it, but I think it was like Peterborough or Ottawa or something out there. I couldn't make that one. But they used to travel around. They used to be, you'd have one in Niagara, then there'd be one in Kingston. And then as a matter of fact, I remember one being up in Muskoka. And there was, they used to move around, but now, and recently they've started to hold them just in the one location. And actually the last 2 years we had to go virtual, but once these pandemic restrictions are dropped and you get a chance to get to one of those conferences, you gotta go.
Yeah,
I rambled a bit there, didn't I?
Sorry? Well, I've been to several of those fleet conferences.
Yeah.
Because I have in the past been a member. I'm currently not a member today, but that can easily change in the future.
It should.
Lay out the cost. I mean, if I wanted to join, and I know you can only address, at least I think you can only address the cost for Hamilton, because I hear that they are slightly different, but they're all similar. What is the exorbitant cost of joining the Fleet Safety Council?
Is this a part where you want me to say, can you hold that question till the end?
Well, you could.
Or is this a part where you really want me to answer it?
Well, I think we can answer it because I think it's a huge value for the little bit of money that is charged. It's I can't believe people wouldn't join, but it's not for money that I'm not a member.
Let me just say, to sound like one of those cheesy television ads. So we meet 10 times a year. You have access to numerous people, even just within your chapter, IHSA reps being the minimum, being the start, because every chapter has its IHSA representative. That's basically who, I'm not going to say supports, but that is the regulator arm, if you want to call it, that helps with the facilitator, the administrator.
Facilitator.
Facilitating administrator or administrating facilitator?
Either or.
Okay. Is the IHSA. So the networking.
Stop. Who's the IHSA?
The Industrial Health and Safety Association.
Close. You're so close. So close.
I am?
Infrastructure. Health.
Oh, God, infrastructure. Did I say industrial? Oh,
yes, you said industrial. It's because you're an industrialist, I think, is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Infrastructure Health and Safety Association. Oh man, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, so each chapter has a facilitator that is a representative of the Infrastructure Health and Safety Association. So just the information that's available in that one connection is phenomenal. Now you take in all the different other members that are available, or that are either honorary members, retired members, full-time members, all from different types of businesses and different types of regulatory arms, like I said, the OPP, the MTO, and so on. And then other consultants, such as you gentlemen. There's numerous contacts that are available through each one of those chapters. Now, you've got those meetings that happen once a month. Now you take in the guest speakers that come in. So every month you're snowballing this information. It's getting more and more. Then you have the ability, as I said, to go to other chapters if you wish. Then you also have the ability to go to an annual conference where there are numerous guest speakers, presenters, advertisers, presenters, whatever at these conferences as well. So having all that, you would think that you'd be looking at a membership like $1,000, or hundreds of dollars anyway. Mm-hmm. And it's $50 for my chapters. $50.
Come on, say that again.
50. 50. Not 15.
50.
And there's some chapters that I think are only 35, depending on which one you go to. And if you can also, if you want a corporate membership, so you can get more than a couple of people going to each meeting, or if there's more than one going to the meeting, you can buy those at varying prices, and it varies by chapter. I can't speak for all.
Right. Yeah.
The basic
so for $50 a year,
wanted you to get out is, damn, it's cheap compared to the value that being a member, what you're getting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this isn't, it's not a knock on other associations and whatnot, not at all. Because other associations, their fee structures are set up, to meet their requirements. The Fleet Safety Council can afford to do this because a lot of its work is volunteer work as well. Mm-hmm. So people that are in there as the chair and co-chairs and speaker presenters and so on. All the work is volunteer.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I thought I was getting paid next month.
No.
Oh,
sorry,
man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, Chris. Yeah, you are getting paid. Yeah. I'll send you the contract over later.
Yeah. There'll be a donut there with your name on it.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say that, I have been a member. I mean, in my past days when I worked for the insurance company, of course, the company was a corporate member, and I always got value out of it. I just have a harder time at the moment making it to the meetings. That's the only reason I'm currently not a member, although I think that's going to change. Especially, I should have been a member during this COVID because with the meetings being virtual, I could have attended much more easily. Now,
you could have attended every chapter.
Yeah. Well, because I wasn't doing much. So, hey, question for you, and I don't know if you can answer this. Going forward, as you said, you've already said that your chapter is going to meet virtually until the end of at least the year. But after that, Do you think, what are the plans? Are they going to be in person only? Are they going to be hybrid? Are they going to be some virtual, some in person? Have any thought been given to that yet?
Yeah, actually, that's one of the things that we're working on right now, and I think they're leaning towards the hybrid model. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do it. Whether they have a camera there, whether they record it for playback later. I'm not really sure how they plan to do it, but it is in discussions already, and the people in the organizing committees, the ones further up the line than me, those are the ones that are working on that right now.
Yeah, that would be. I would love a hybrid, because only because I think there's so much value in person. However, there's times when I can't make it in person, and I would miss the awesome value of being at that meeting and hearing that presenter.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I can add that I know with the central chapter here, I think the attendance has gone up a little bit because of the convenience of meeting. But one of the biggest points is the recording of the virtual meeting and whatnot. That recording can be viewed at any time later. So that's made it much more convenient where I missed it. Oh, darn, I missed it. I wanted to see that speaker. Well, now I can go back to the recording and I can see who the speaker was and hear what they had to say and continue with that value.
Yeah, look at the gentlemen. This has been awesome, but we're heading. I know we're around 30 minutes, if not past. John and I just did a live a few minutes ago, and we went way past the time normally scheduled. Michael, last word to you. Why, what the heck is the Fleet Safety Council? Why would somebody join? And specifically, I'm thinking of somebody starting their safety career in this awesome industry of ours.
Okay. Well, I can, I'm not, my brain's not that bad that I don't remember getting into the business myself. And I'll speak from my own experience. I was not really comfortable with, the abilities, the experience, what it is that I had to do. I was, still really, really green when I was introduced to the chapter. And it's almost like a health and safety support group. You're surrounded by like-minded individuals that have either been there or done that and can give you all the support that you need. They can point you in the right direction. When you're first getting into this business, especially with the smaller companies, when they bring somebody on who maybe doesn't have a lot of background, if that's you and you're wondering, geez, where can I go to learn this, or who can give me information on that? You can spend lots of time, Googling it and researching and whatnot for yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to sit across from somebody that's been there and that's done that before, or rub elbows with somebody who already knows what that form is, or knows the best way to monitor your WSIB, or where do you get information from, your SMS scores in the US, any of that sort of stuff, or how to handle yourself in court, no better place than the Fleet Safety Council. No better.
And with that, Mr. Derry, I think that was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. John, you're not speechless, John Farquhar.
Awesome. Couldn't have been
Could have better said it yourself.
No, I couldn't speak it any better than he does. It's excellent. He's still right.
Thanks, Mike Derry. That was awesome. Mike was speaking about his experience with the Fleet Safety Council. If you're getting value from this show, please give us a like, a comment. Who would you like to hear on the show? That would be awesome. We would respond. And from John Farquhar of Summit Risk Solutions and myself, Chris Harris, Safety Dog, that's it for this week. The Safety Dog's out.